Kia ora, my friends. Hope you are all well today. And let's jump right in. You probably already know this, even if you haven't said it out loud. Most of us want the same thing. A roof over our heads, food on the table, healthcare that actually works, meaningful work, a future that doesn't feel like it's slowly slipping through your fingers. This tarot reading began the same way a lot of these do for me, by watching how narratives are being shaped in the media, on social media, and the way stories are framed and repeated and amplified and spun. Over the weekend, my other half and I were talking about it, about the 99% keep turning on each other, while the few at the top seems to be benefiting. And at a certain point in that conversation, that familiar feeling came in, that quiet nudge from our guides, the one that says, grab your journal. So I did. And as I started writing, I knew this wasn't just a thought process. It was a message that wanted to be interpreted by the tarot cards. And that's when I reached for my tarot deck. Because tarot for me isn't just predictions. It's a pattern language. It's the way of reading systems, cycles, power structures, and human behavior. So I asked for clarity, for perspective, for a way to map what is happening underneath the surface. And let's see, now that I've been simmering in it for a while, what the cards are going to tell us. As per usual, I'm going to do an 11-card spread, upright and reverse, to explore the architecture of the division and the quieter pattern of cohesion underneath it. Take a moment and really feel this. Why does the 99% fracture, while the few at the top seem to keep on winning? Not because they're stronger, not because people are stupid, not because anyone is failing, but because the system itself is built to divide the way we see each other. Our attentions, our emotion, our sense of us and them. It's all pulled sideways, away from what we actually share. And here's the thing that most people never get shown. The 1% doesn't only hold wealth, they shape narrative, media cycle, market stories, political framing, and security languages. And the 99% often ends up competing inside a structure we didn't design, but we were born into. So let's have a look and see what our tarot cards have got to say. And let's have a look at that structure. We'll be looking to see if these feminine and masculine energies, if these historical echoes, and if they will give us a Southern Hemisphere message. Not to predict and not to blame, but to see a pattern, the pattern. Because once a pattern is seen, it no longer has the same control. Let me repeat that. Because a pattern is seen, it no longer has the same control. So let's have a look. As per usual, I will put out 5 cards at the top and we'll interpret those tarot cards, and then we will move on to the next row. Let's have a look here. Please give us messages. Please give us messages. Let's have a look. Let's start. The devil. How many times has the devil shown up of late? 5 of Wands again, but this time it's in reverse. 7 of Cups. Again, 5 of Swords. The bully aspect. Again, the Queen of Pentacles. This queen that is trying to hold everything together. We'll have a look at the underlying. Let's just get through these first. The devil card here. As I said before, it's not about evil and evil people. It's about, I would say, invisible arrangements. Systems that shape behavior. Things that tie us, that keep us bound, that keep us tied to something that doesn't move. Something that is created. For example, maybe debt, scarcity, dependency, survival pressures. If we look closely at the cards, you can see the chains are loose. See, they're loosely fitted. And control doesn't work because it's brutal. It works because it feels normal, because it becomes, I would almost say, background noise. And this is a masculine energy in its distorted form. Structural, hierarchical, and extractive. It doesn't shout. Look, he doesn't shout. It conditions. The system controls. But we can break free. We can just take them off. Because have a look in the background. They are lighting up that fire in us. They're stoking the fires all the time. Where we can have prosperity for ourselves. And look at this card here. It's the masculine energy that is on fire, the masculine energy that is stoking fire. Yet the feminine energy is showing us growth, opportunities. Look at it's green. And it looks like grapes or pomegranates, which mirrors a feminine energy. Look at the two female energies looking in the same direction. Then we look at this 5 of Wands here in reverse. This is not open conflict yet. It is internal tension. But if we're having a look what's going on around the world at the moment, that internal conflict and tensions is starting to spill over. So remember, we did have it in upright and other readings. Too many priorities, too many pressures, too many signals at once. People are trying to survive inside this competing demand system. This is where narrative first take hold, where the nervous system is overloaded. When identity feels unstable. And again, here we've got a lot of masculine energy. If we just have a look at it, it's all young men, it's all masculine energy, reactive. comparative, fragmented. And isn't it in certain areas of the 99%, the young masculine energy that is controlled by that is pushing the masculine energy by that? And here we've got the Seven of Cups, upright. There's multiple realities, multiple yeses, maybe multiple stories, multiple sides, multiple little flags, ideologies, moral frameworks, everything competing for attention and for loyalty, emotional loyalty. Sorry, and if you guys can hear some creaking and see movement on here, we've got quite a rough day out on the water, so just do bear with me with the creaking noises and the swaying of the boat. It's unfortunately not much I can do about that. Sorry, to get back to this. Everything, cups are emotions. Everything is competing for for loyalty and emotions. And this is where, within the 99%, we see a 33-66% split. And then within, I think, that 66%, it fractures again, as well as in the 33%, it fractures again. And I'm not going to say left or right or whatever. I'm just pointing out a fact. And it's not because people are different. And look here, it's masculine energy that is demanding all of this emotion. It is about perceptions being edited. This masculine energy here doesn't rule through force. It rules through all the options that we are given. Confusion, endless mirrors. But what is behind the clouds? What is behind the clouds? Then we look at another masculine energy here. The Five of Swords, the bully, as I call it. And the Five of Swords is what happens when conflict forgets its origin. Arguments without resolution. Winds that don't change anything. Energy spent without movement. And I think you can agree with me, my friends, my stars, that this is exhaustion. It is burnout. But the system just survives. But this masculine energy is hollow. There's a victory without any ground being gained. Motion without any meaning. And just look how smug. Yes, we'll throw you some morsels, whatever. But I'm taking whatever, and I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you distraught. But I'm still controlling you. Because you see, they have not walked away completely. They've just turned their backs ever so slightly. But it is merely a case of turning the head, and they will see that again. And here we have the feminine energy coming through. The Queen of Pentacles upright. Now this field changes. The Queen of Pentacles enters. She's a nurturer. Food, shelter, work, and care. Health, stability. She's sitting on a stone throne, which provides stability. Her feet are completely on the ground. And this is where everybody, almost everybody, quietly agrees. And in Māori wisdom, this allows with Papa Tanuka, the earth mother, living ground, the holder of life. Her energy doesn't dominate, it sustains. Even under extraction, she continues to feed. Even under pressure, she continues to grow. And this is the feminine energy, enduring, practical, unifying. This is a shared reality beneath all the narratives. And do leave me a comment if you agree with me, please. And let's have a look. What comes next? King of Pentacles in reverse. More masculine energy. 10 of Wands. All of that is creating burdens. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And what's underlying? The Six of Swords in reverse. Let's leave that card one side and we'll get to it at the end. This King of Pentacles in reverse shows leadership, divorce. A divorce from services. Everything is just falling away. Everything is just dropping away. The system that protects profit over people. Stability for the few. And I almost say like a charity before. Pre-charity for the many. Masculine energy here seeks to own that feminine energy that exists to sustain. In Māori wisdom, it teaches us that the whenua is not owned. It is related to, cared for, and it is held in guardianship. This reversal here shows what happens when that relationship is broken, I think. And now, this 10 of Wands, this is the weight. And it almost doesn't need any explanation. It's overload, it's burnout, it's pressure. It's carrying what was never meant to be for one body. It just feels like it's an endless struggle. While the 1% sits in their beautiful little castles, and their beautiful townhouses, and their condos. That's what it feels like. And this is what the 99%, I think we all can agree on, feels like. Holding the system together, they don't benefit from. Masculine energy here is rigid. It's unyielding. It's task-driven. And feminine energy through a Māori understanding moves differently. It distributes weight. It works in cycles, and it supports through the community. Pressure is not a failure state. It's a signal. And here again, we've got the World card, the null point. And this wheel is not spinning forward. It destabilizes here. Old advantages weaken. Old narratives slip. Old certainties stop holding. And this is the energy of 2026. 10 is broken down to 0. No collapse, no chaos. A thinning of gravity. A moment where what used to automatically work no longer does. And aren't we seeing this, my friends? And this is what I like to call a system hinge. The hinge got undone and it's now spinning. What was always there is now there. Everything is turned on its head. Let's have a look. Judgment. Again, judgment is coming up. Strength. What's our last card? Temperance again. How many times does temperance come up? But let's get this judgment card. And this judgment card speaks of memory. Moments in history. I always want to say where cohesion quietly reshaped power. If we look back into the past, labor rights came to the forefront. Public health care came to the foreground. Social protections was in the foreground. And collective bargaining. And it wasn't done through a spectacle, it was done through a sustained alignment. And this is where we are now in history, and that is where now having a look here at this Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune turned, and it will turn back up again, because currently everything is upside down. It's all just for the top. And again, I'm saying Tupuna is never gone. They remain present. It's our spirit, Tupuna. They remain present in patterns, in correction, in reminding. It's almost like our ancestors are looking down from the top and telling us, go back to when we fought for things. This has happened before. Not perfectly and not permanently, but this has happened before. And then we have the strength card here, upright. Strength is not force. It's nervous system's mastery, gentle persistence, relational power, infinite power. And again, it's the feminine energy taming the line without domination. It's this feminine energy that is taming the masculine. And this is a guardian of threshold, of cycles, of transformation. Feminine power doesn't confront systems head on. It outlasts them. It adapts. It recognizes and reorganizes beneath them. And this is how cohesion forms. Not by overthrow, but by repatterning, retraining. Look at the tail between its legs. And through that, we will have abundance. And now this Temperance card in upright again. It's integration. Water to water. Water to water. Water. System to system. And again, I think people to people is what I want to say. The Southern Hemisphere carries some very long memories. Seasonal intelligence, and slow system awareness. In Maori thought, balance lives between rangi and papa, sky and earth, masculine and feminine. If you have a look, there's an episode that I did that I explained how rangi and papa were separated because they were constantly in fight and conflict, darkness and light. And this is now where this feminine energy is coming through. Not dominance, but a relationship. It doesn't promise change. It describes how it happens. Through illumination, through using the mind, through using the heart chakra. Quietly, rationally, through alignment. Your feet are still on the earth, solid, but you're also in the flow of change. And I don't think the 99 is permanently fractured. Upright, this means from rough water to calmer water. But here in reverse, it's telling me in this moment that the swords are about to fall out of what seemed to have been calm, and there are some rough times ahead of us, but we need to stay the course, because like with this boat that's currently moving, things can fall, things can get rocky, but we are moving forward because there is something that is holding us stable. Stay in the flow despite the rockiness that's happening. Anything that is in fractures can be reorganized. And if something in this reading didn't feel like information but recognition, that matters. Because recognition changes behavior, and behavior reshapes systems. This space we're building here is not always for answers. It is about perception, pattern literacy, seeing what most people are trained not to see. And once you start seeing it, you don't really stop. So if you've felt the pull, that quiet internal yes, that sigh, that relief, this field can return to you. There are many layers we haven't touched yet. Many patterns will still be moving. Many narratives will still be shifting. Like in that reading I did about the wolf moon and how the energies have changed and shifted in this moment. I'll put it on the description and I'll link it in the description as well if you haven't seen it. And as these narratives, as these things keep on moving and shifting and playing around, we will keep reading on them. I'll keep pulling out the tarot deck. But to understand how this quietly rearranging itself we'll continue reading. And let's take a quick pause and see if the cards have got one more message for us. One last message. One last message for the collective. One last message about the 99% and the 1% and the fractures. Queen of Cups. Upright, this Queen of Cups are holding emotions. She's stable. She's assessing. But here, emotions are a little bit out of control at the moment. We don't know which way to go. But our emotions have been bottled up into that cup for way too long. And we are ready to let go. We don't want that fracture amongst ourselves. And we realize that that golden thing in your hands, that golden thing that you buy, that golden thing on the hill, is what is causing this emotion. Because no matter which way you look at this card, she constantly looks at that, at the bling, at the shining. And this card wants to show itself. Celebration, foundation. We're not boxed in by the towers. We are free. We've got the foundations and we've got the guidance. And if we stand together, we can celebrate. We can be kind to one another. We can give and receive. We can be joyous. As long as we, no matter what color or creed, red or blue or green or white or whatever, if we as red and blue work together, we can bear the fruits of us 99% standing together. And look how we are standing away from those towers of control behind us. Because we have laid the foundation. It's not always equal foundations, but together it gives us grounding and structure. And that, my friends, is all from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode where I'm going to be touching on rights and privileges, if they are rights or privileges that's controlled by the 1%. So keep an eye out for that. That is the next reading going to be. And then I've got something fun coming up as well. It is a reading that I'm going to be doing on a short video that I saw on YouTube from Segi Said, where he asked a question of ChatGPT, and that made me think, and that made me wonder, and that is going to lead into an absolutely brilliant reading. So please do keep an eye out for that. It's coming this week. Speak to you soon, my lovely friends, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.